That is.
Eh? Got one.
Bam. Bam.
But bam. Dennis, how are you doing? I'm still here stateside. About to head back to Spain in a couple days. But just been working.
Oh, yeah. Well, beautiful here. It's 75, cooler. Painting the deck that's now been up for over a year. The Danwood Memorial deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I got 3 colors in it so far. Burgundy, gray,
Is it a rainbow?
and brown.
Oh, that's a shitty rainbow.
No. It's
Worst rainbow ever, Dennis.
It would be.
Burgundy
doing
rainbow.
that and flying to Denver tomorrow. Actually, this
Why not?
morning, 4 a.m.
Cool.
My friend Roger passed. My research friend I
Yes.
told you about.
Yes, I remember that.
And here's to him. Shout out, Raj, my man.
Yep. We had a good talk that one time.
But yeah, that's right. That's right. The other show, though.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So anyway, touching story is that Kim, his wife of some 30 years, I think, who I've never met, wrote me 2 days after I learned of his passing and said, I hate to tell you this, but Roger passed and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's a very nice way to put it.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. But and I just wrote her back. I said, I'm heartbroken. And I quoted Khalil Gibran. And she wrote me back and she said, this is pretty amazing. We quoted Khalil Gibran at our wedding, and he died on our anniversary.
Oh.
And I went, whoa, thanks, Raj.
That's wow.
Thanks, Raj.
And you're going out there for a funeral ceremony or something?
Memorial,
right?
Celebration, whatever they call it. But I'll be there 12 hours, then flying back.
Wow, that's tight.
14, I guess, 14 hours. But my friend and colleague used her points so that I could do this.
Nice.
And her schedule's tight, and
Yep.
it's coming and going. So I'm looking forward to it in a very somber but joyous way,
Sure, funerals are reasons to get together and see people. But they are what they are.
Sure. Now, I don't know that could be described as a funeral.
Well, okay. Okay. I mean, it is a form of death party, right? So.
Yeah, there we go. That's broad enough. Now you've hit the umbrella. Death party. That's not a bad name for a band, actually. But we won't. Oh, by the way.
Speaking of bands.
Speaking of bands, the Mojo Ride had its
Nice.
freaking debut, man, down at the Thunderbird River Ranch.
Yeah.
And it was standing room only, man.
Was it a riot?
Every table was filled. The bar was filled. There were 3 tables with people outside before it started to pour. We were inside. And after the 3rd song or so, I went over to our leader, Justin, and I said, it's something that this is just like practice. And he said, as intended.
What do you mean just like practice? I mean...
Meaning that when we got together in practice, we just went through all 3 sets of the songs.
Right.
And so when we got up in front of an audience, we didn't do anything different.
Right.
And I made a joke out of it.
Right.
Meaning, this is just like practice. But we played well. People were responsive, and
I mean, performing is a form of practice because, like, you get better at it. Like,
Well, the missing audience response and appeal, and people to whatever degree in the band. It's a 5-piece now, but everybody's got their own assessment or lack of thereof of what's going on with the crowd.
Right.
I take a generic view. It's like some songs better, not others, but for the most part, they're up.
Sure.
There's movement, there's cheering, whatever. Others will look at it song by song, not so much what I do. I kind of notice it, but I will better now, because that's part of what we're learning. And of course, the first thing we learn, which everyone probably knows, is that people like songs they know.
Of course. Yep.
And
that's why when the band you go see is like, all right, here's one off of our new album, everyone's like, oh fuck, whatever.
Well, it all depends. I mean, if you've got a good if you're good musicians, you can make anything roll.
Of course. But
that's we are in fact a cover band, though we're doing some pretty unique jamming, which is pretty extraordinary. But it was well received, and I was particularly pleased that my son Outlaw's mother is a professional singer who sings classics with the Philharmonic kind of deal with local ensemble, and and after our first set, which I sang, there were 7 tunes, I sang 6 of them. There was a blank, somebody else sang one right in the middle of it. And I felt good, I felt in good voice. And now that I'm using earplugs, where the app feeds my version of the sound the way I want it.
Right.
And if I want more bass, more voice, more this, I have it coming in to my ear, and what I'm doing is I'm setting it for what the audience hears, so there's realism between what's in my earbud and the audience. What I'm hearing is closest to what they're hearing, another way to put it.
Sure.
Which makes me sing better, play better.
Right. Nice.
Etc. And not be nearly needing to be so loud. And plus I'm hard of hearing.
Are you hearing yourself as well? Yes. And there's not latency?
No.
It's that because it's wireless.
It's real time. It's not wireless, no.
Oh, okay.
It's a cable.
Okay, in that case, right. Like the reason. So
anyway, it's because we practice that way. When you practice and you get your level set.
Yep.
Then the next time you plug it in, their levels are set the way it was before. So everybody does sound check 2 ways, mainly through the buds, but one of the dudes doesn't like the buds, and so he's in the room.
Right.
And so what I want is a mixture of both. I want to feel the music in the room. I want to be able to take my earbuds off and hear people play.
Yep.
As does he. Without the buds, but when I put the buds in, what I hear in the room is like nothing.
Yep.
Because the sound is
just the band sound.
The way, but I still feel it.
Yep.
I can still feel the drums and feel the bass.
Yep.
As and plus they're moving. So it's
nice.
And there were. Tables outside that people added, so we did all 3 sets. We ended up, there were like 4 songs we pulled because we didn't think we were playing them well enough last practice, and then there were 4 more we didn't get to, and we just
sounds like a success.
It feels good. The guy was the manager, Rob. He says, man, he's shaking my hand. He says, man, did you bring all these people? I said, yeah, they're here to see us. He said, oh, man, we weren't ready. We weren't ready. He said it was on fire in the kitchen. We we weren't ready. I said, well, you'll be ready next month because it's going to happen again. And if you want to know in advance how many people you're going to have, every table that reserves 4 spots or more, if they're on time to get their table,
Yep.
get 10% off their food, and they get happy hour for the first hour they're there.
Huh.
And you will know that every table inside is reserved.
Yep.
And the picnic tables are reserved. And that way you can staff accordingly. And people were eating because the food's good.
I heard, I was chatting with a coworker of mine a year or so ago, and he played guitar in a small band in England, and he and his band would travel around to different pubs on Friday nights or whatever, and but they realized, and they would load all their shit into a van and unload and set up everything, and then after the gig, put everything back in the van, and they realized that wherever they went, the people in the audience were the same. They just had these groupies that were driving, that would go wherever they went. So, like he said, did you bring these people? This band was bringing all these people to all these different pubs, but in the end, they decided it was an awful lot of hassle just to play to the same damn people all the time. Why
they
travel?
They just needed a home.
Right. So I think they stopped the hey, let's go play an hour away or whatever,
right.
Because it was just the same people that were going to drive the same damn hour they did.
Well, that's what we're doing at the Thunderbird, is that we're playing once a month. It's the only venue we're playing.
Nice.
Now through December, it's our home. And we have all agreed that we'll play no more than twice a month. And I push for 1 practice, not 2.
Right.
But they're fanatics. I mean, these guys are such excellent musicians, and the skill craft that they have is astounding. I mean, me and my simple-ass harp, my vocals are, quite gripping. So everybody's happy with that. And I do a lot of backup vocals and harmony shit.
Right.
Whole songs, and I'm playing my juice harp. I'm featured in 2 tunes with my juice harp. One is Cripple Creek.
Yep.
Which is one of the few popular songs that it actually has a major role in between. At the end of every chorus, there's a juice harp that plays a little riff. And the only way to get that riff right is to play the juice harp for the entire song, which means I can't sing. Even though I've been singing some through my juice harp, because I can play and sing at the same time.
Right.
I certainly can do guttural, woos and ahs and woes and stuff like that, but it's quite unique for this band of men, of musicians, to have recognized the value of that instrument for these 2 songs. The other one, which you probably don't know, maybe you do, it's called Amos Moses.
Nope.
And it's by a kind of a countrified pop singer back in the 60s, I believe, 70s, named Jerry Reed. And Jerry Reed, there was a few of these singers that sang stuff that was fun and funny, and trailers for rumor red, 150 cents. I got.
Yep.
That's a different guy, but that was the era of that kind of crooning.
Uh-huh.
So this song, Amos Moses, is about a guy who grew up in the bayou, down the Alligator Bayou down in Louisiana. And it is a hoot. It is a hoot. And these musicians, these 2 guitar players who alternate with leads, jam into this thing back and forth. It just goes on. It is
nice.
It's a 8-minute extravaganza.
Cool.
That is just every bit of it is refreshing, but I never stopped playing the Jews
Yeah.
harp, which means that I'm doing that for 8 full minutes, which I now prop my elbows on my chest and stomach
Right.
so that I don't have to be holding my arms up for so long. But at one point, it's just the slightest guitar, the bass, a little snare drum, and the Jews harp. And it's so joyous
Nice.
that after all these years I've been playing the thing for, I don't know, 25 years, I've never been able to get with a band that would
respect
understand
Right.
it and appreciate it enough to
Feature.
celebrate it.
Yep.
And in fact, feature it.
Cool.
But so this practice, I've got to talk to Justin about. He's a lead guitarist. If he wants to go from one tune to another, he can. And in fact, he went from Amos Moses into Cripple Creek, which meant that I had to play that damn juice harp for another 4 fucking minutes. I got calluses on my
Yep.
index finger
Wow.
and a bloody lip. But it's so much fun, Eric. I can't tell you. It's completely satisfies my forever desire to be able to play for people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where
Perform.
all these years going to this and that venue to play 1 or 2 or whatever. This is extraordinary.
Excellent.
And
happy for you.
quite a pressing exercise for me. That's 3 hours on my feet in a time that the first 2 hours I'm usually getting ready for bed, and the second 2 hours I'm definitely asleep in a typical day.
Wow.
But alcohol, etc., to keep me alert, and of course adrenaline just pumping.
Sure.
Pumping through. We had some folks dancing, and it was good.
Nice.
And the owner, the manager's like, I said, well, man, we're coming up next week, that price we agreed to. And he said, you know what? Just charge me full price. We're good.
Nice.
He made so much money. The
Yeah.
barmaid of the night, Ashley, shout out to her. She was fabulous. I went in there for happy hour, which I do 3 times a week now, because they have $2.75 drafts for 2 hours.
Wow.
I mean,
That's
craft beer.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm losing you, man. You're getting all like.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I'm not worried, man.
Calm down.
I'm not. There you are. You're back again.
Ashley
I
would
kind of liked it. Was kind of like that Picasso shit going on, but
Well,
anyway, it was great fun, and
very cool.
we're changing shit up. It's joyous.
Well done. Well done. Let's see. Not much has happened here. Just been working. My kids have been going to fencing classes, which is pretty interesting. Where
Yeah.
they learn to shuffle forward and backward and smack each other with a
Sword.
With a sword.
Yeah. It'll come in handy when they come back to the States after Trump wins.
Right. Exactly.
They'll be able to use it.
Well, yeah, right. If the Democrats take all our guns, then we'll have to use
Hey,
swords.
have we talked since Trump's
No.
attempted assassination?
And that reminds me. Let's before we go there, I did do something this weekend. On that very night, I went to my first rodeo.
Oh yeah, I saw a picture.
Never been to a rodeo, and
Yeah.
that was pretty wild. I mean, it is more or less what I expected.
Well, you know where the expression comes from then?
Exactly.
Wild rodeo. There, yeah, right? See how that happens?
Well, the other expression is, this is not my first rodeo, so now I can say that about literally everything,
Yes.
because I went to my first rodeo already.
Well, yeah. There's another expression that I use that's similar to that. Is like, you're trying to tell me what time it is, and I built the clock.
That's identical, yes. Like I see why you went there.
Are you being sarcastic? Are you? You are.
Me?
Oh, you are.
I would
You're
never.
such a bitch.
Yes.
You're such a
So anyway, that was cool. But yeah, the just before we went, we got push notification about shots fired. So that was kind of wild. And
Yeah. I mean, it's he was a quarter inch from being absolutely his head exploding. Quarter inch. And as soon as it happened, I'm sorry, but my first thought was, he's going to win now.
oh, that's exactly my first thought.
He's going to win now. He's being coronated tonight at the Republican National Convention.
My take was his percent chance of winning went from 80% to 99% because already assuming he's running against Biden.
Well, yes. So the update. This is brand new news from the political desk. Is that the attempted assassination attempt squashed, all open in maybe many private discussions about Biden's age issue.
Right.
And many had mentioned a day or so ago that they thought it had ebbed, and there was a push for them to be a virtual nominating process days in advance of the convention.
Yep.
And that pissed some people off and blah, blah, blah. And so Adam Schiff, who you may know from one of the managers for the hearings,
The name's familiar. Yep.
yeah, he of course is blessed by Nancy Pelosi, went to Biden and said, we're looking at the numbers, they don't look good, we got to think about the party, downhill Senate races are a mess.
Think about the country.
They're way underwater. Number one. Number two, this fella, Hollywood producer by the name of Katzenberger, I think, Katzen something or other.
Okay.
He is the most prolific fundraiser of Biden all time. He went to Biden. This leaked, and it leaked. This is important. It leaked. And the message was, we now have no more mega donors. They've all left. You can get half of what you need
Wow.
through small donations, but you need to know the reality. The big mega donors have left.
Of course
Number
they will.
three.
Yeah.
Number three, Hakeem Jeffries, the leader of the House, had a private session with Biden and said, legacy, 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 all the time while Kamala Harris points begin to tick up. And in the background state, she now is at the top of the margin of error rather than underwater. She does better than Biden in some of the polls. But here's the thing that she can do that can win the election that Biden really can't do. He could do it with her. He could still say on the ticket, but Kamala Harris is going to ignite the women of this country around abortion issues and about other civil rights related issues.
Yep.
In a way that only a black woman, a Blasian woman, can do. And she is good on the stump. She's on fire at the stump. She knows the topic. She won and ran every prosecutor. She be California politician. She's in her stride.
Yep.
With Biden on the ticket, not Biden on the ticket, either way, what is about to be unleashed is that power that includes Republican suburban women who, no matter what Trump does, they don't like him. They don't like him. His base is growing, particularly Latino and black. It's awful how instead of 85% of the vote, the Democrats are down to 65 or thereabouts. It's huge. And every speaker, almost every speaker at the place, well, not everyone, but Latino speakers, black speakers at the conference, they're doing this stuff. But here's the deal at the end of the day. The women who were at the victory in each of the states that had a referendum on abortion issues that were overwhelmingly won based on the organization of that female aggravated vote
block.
They won overwhelmingly. One was in Wisconsin, the other one was in Minnesota. This is the thing that Biden has been saying. When people get in the booth, they're going to decide who they hate less. That's bullshit. That isn't going to win the election. That's bullshit. They're going to vote independent. They're going to vote for Robert fucking Kennedy with the motherfucking space in his brain where a worm crawled in and died. And he talks about it as if, no, I'm fine now. Well, how were you then? How the fuck were you when you had the worm in your head? And he'd say, you know, I was forgetting some things.
Okay, so I think it's really imperative that Biden step down. I think if he doesn't, if he lets his ego take him all the way to November and he loses, his legacy is whatever Trump gives us. Like he could break the country by just having so much ego. Like I think he really needs to have a little bit.
You know who hasn't spoken?
And well, hold that thought. But I think even more the strategy that I've heard that I most like is, what if Biden resigns like as the president and Kamala runs her campaign as an incumbent, like from the fucking Rose Garden, and shows.
No, I don't think that works.
Shows her presidentiality.
No. The people who blame Biden would then be blaming Harris, and right now she has the defense that she was vice president. Not that she would say that, but there's no reason for her in this final stage. She doesn't run any better, I don't think, as an incumbent. In fact, she may not do anything other than inspire a bigger movement earlier than not against her.
Right. Yeah, okay.
So a big change, but here's a shift. Here's a shift.
Well, who haven't we heard from? What were you about to say?
Barack Obama.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And this is what can happen. Barack says, Joe, we got all the mega donors signed up to launch it again with Kamala Harris on the ticket, with Michelle and I leading the campaign from now until the victory.
That is, I still think, even doing that, I still think Trump's going to win, but that would be an amazing push.
Oh, no. The igniting, listen, you know the numbers. You know that Trump can only get a certain percentage of the populace. He's never gotten more than 47% of the vote, and since then the independents don't like him so much. Now that's offset, but blah, blah, blah. The thing to know is that the elections are won by what happens with these huge voting blocks.
Right.
And particularly what happens at the end. All the polling, all the stuff, a pundit could name you 4 presidents who were in worse shape poll-wise than Biden is right now and won. Because shit happens.
Well, it's almost never it's almost never the Democrats, though. At this stage, I think the Democrats, like for the past 30 years, have been leading at these stage. Sometimes they continue to win, and sometimes they lose. But like Hillary and Barack both times, and Gore and Kerry, I think we're all leading the polls in like July. But so
good point. Actually, a good question. I'm not sure.
So the fact
but
that
I do believe it was at least one Democrat in this mix, because it goes way back. I mean,
yeah, if you go way back, then for sure.
Yeah.
But recently, it's the ones
Grover Cleveland,
the ones that get an extra boost at the end have typically been GOP.
Well, it's coronation is tonight. I can't imagine my wife can sit through it. She is known to get up and be so angry at the big screen television that there's actually spittle on it. And
could you like tilt your camera down if you're going to lean back so far?
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't see myself.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see. I don't know why it shows me as a guest. Huh.
There's a setting. Anyway.
Yeah, I know.
That's fine. We don't really want to see.
Podcaster, I'm guest. I see it's there. I press the menu. It says show stats. Now I see the statistics. That's helpful. Wow.
Yeah.
Graphs and charts.
Your jitter and packet loss. Yeah.
I had no idea. Integrated camera. No.
All right.
Nothing.
All right. Never mind.
Anyway.
So
tell me when.
You're good. You're good. So, what a crazy thing that he was almost killed. Like, can you imagine the world where the guy didn't miss? Like, what a shit show that would be. First of all, the GOP has no like second guy.
Yes, they do. Are you kidding me?
Who's the second guy?
Oh man, you're out of touch, brother. His son, Donald Jr. Are you kidding me?
Really?
You want to see a clip? Look at his speech today at the Republican convention.
Why wasn't he picked as the running mate? A Trump ticket.
Oh. Well, because he went with hillbilly elegy.
Well, yeah, I know who he went with, but.
And do you know he's the first guy with a beard and the facial hair in 75 years? That's an interesting little fact.
First
vice presidential candidate. I may be either president or vice president in 75 years, since either one of them had any facial hair.
That's interesting.
And there were two reports from Donald Trump. One, he was uncomfortable with his beard, and the other one was that he liked his beard and it made him feel like he was like looking at Abraham Lincoln. And it's like, what the fuck? This guy doesn't look anything like Abraham Lincoln. I don't even think Trump knows what Abraham Lincoln looks like. He probably misidentify him with fucking Eisenhower. I'll tell you what, though, Trump is done something that you never would have thought it was possible 3 months ago, and he has shut the fuck up. He shut up the whole week and a half when Biden was imploding. People were leaving him. The story is ongoing. I predict he will not be the nominee. It will be Kamala Harris. That is who will be running. And
I sure hope so.
The Trump campaign is saying, oh, shit. Oh, no, we want... Please. No, we want Joe. We want Joe.
Right.
We want... Because their campaign, it's built on it. That means none of their ads are any good.
The funny thing happened the other day. On Twitter, Joe tweeted, "I'm sick," and then he put a following tweet, like you can like a thread if you have a lot of them, a reply to that, where he finished, of how billionaires like Elon Musk are blah 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 blah. But the hilarious thing is that the analytics, you can look at a tweet and see how many people saw it, and there was like 120 million people saw the "I'm sick" tweet, and 20 million people saw the follow-up tweet. So there's 100 million people that just saw Biden tweet "I'm sick," and it coincided with his announcement of having COVID. But
so he was sick. He was sick to his stomach because of the terrible.
Right, but it was supposed to be sort of a gag, but it backfired in a funny way. That
Joe, Sleepy Joe. We can't keep. That's not the United States. That's not us.
Yeah.
We're the United States. We're well.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
And by the way, fact number one, blah, 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 blah. Number two, blah, 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 blah. Number one. and there's not time for that. And I wanna thank Vice President Trump
right.
for the.
Yep, it's pretty.
The reporter said later.
It's painful to watch him talk.
One of the reporters who's snide. Last question of the night, Biden was about basically leaving the mic. He said, President Biden, there have been questions about your ability on the stump, etc. And earlier you had mistakenly referred to Vice President Kamala Harris as Vice President Trump. And I wonder if this in any way makes you, wonder about your future capabilities. And Biden got this big grin on his face, smiled at him, and looked up at him and said, "Listen to what he says," and walked off stage. I thought it was good.
Listen to what he, as in Trump.
Yeah, listen to what he says.
Yeah.
but not Kamala Harris, not Gavin Newsom.
Is Kamala doing
who could turn to the pulpit, who could turn back to the microphone and come back and say, "How dare you ask that question?
Right.
Let me tell you a thing or two about my mental health.
Yep.
And let me tell you what is going to happen from this point forward. You people, you want to write about the shit you want to write about? Go ahead. You watch what I do. No more questions. I got work to do." Bye.
Right, exactly.
Bam.
Yes.
Bam. Who's going to do that? Kamala can do it. But you can't be upstaging the president, which means it's such a low bar.
Right. Yeah.
That's not America. That's not us. Well, never mind.
I will say one thing about Vance is he is refreshingly young. Like
39 years old.
I'm so tired of these ancient politicians, and like his politics are horrible, but it's like, oh, he can actually jump around if he wants to.
Yeah, he's half Trump's age.
Right, exactly.
And his one of the things that's very cagey about this is that he is incredibly articulate. And he can do what Trump can't do, which is defend Trump's policies from a cerebral, policy-oriented, highly political standpoint. But that also includes positions not in agreement with Trump on abortion, for example, where he knows that this refrain that Trump is saying, states' rights, states' rights, states' rights, includes California and New York, where abortions will be legal, and people who want to stop abortions are saying, you're going to allow legalized abortion in these major urban centers? That's not our position.
Right.
And as a result, they're at odds. Abortion's hardly, if at all, been mentioned in the entire 3 days of this convention. And I'll tell you what, that is proof positive that what I say about the power of that issue is, you want to know what issue to go after? Pick the issue they're afraid to mention. They don't know how to frame it. They don't know how to frame it. And Project 2025 out of the Heritage Foundation, what do they say? States' rights? No fucking way. National fucking curtailment. National. To the point of abortion pills. Out of it. That's Trump's platform. I'm seeing signs now, orange with a blue number.
Yep.
Orange with blue number 25. They're springing up.
Right.
You know, as the instant message. So here's the thing: it's a long time till the election.
Yeah, a long time.
It's a long time the election, and the only thing we know is that we don't know what is about to happen. This thing with Biden, he will. This will not work. He won't be the guy. He won't be the guy. And the mega donors, George Clooney starting,
right,
$28 million George Clooney raised in one night.
Well,
done.
Yeah. If this past week taught us anything, is we don't know what's about to happen.
That's right. Now, what do you think would have happened if Biden would have been hit with that bullet instead of Trump? Do you think he would have stood up and looked at the crowd screaming, fight, 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 with blood running down his ear? What a showman.
Yes.
What a showman.
That is...
He said, let me up, let me up. He didn't give a fuck that he was exposing himself to danger for the next 48 seconds. And that is a subject that nobody is willing to touch. The questions have been asked again and again. What do you think of the fact that he showed himself, and people like got him in the car just as fast as they could? And that is on the cover of Time magazine. Trump,
that is,
wrist, fist raised, blood streaming down his face, American flag in the background with the word fight on his lips, angry and large and in charge. That's the Trump.
That's the photo of this decade. Like,
it's the photo of the Trump era. That's for certain. It's the absolute illustration of where we are right now.
Yep, exactly.
Right now, and the story the narrative I'm providing you,
yes,
about Barack and about Michelle includes this: the most popular person in America, in a political view, is Michelle Obama,
right?
Whose husband is wildly popular, but has never been as popular as her. And who is her sister? Is Oprah Winfrey. When you start to think about what happens when Kamala Harris, a woman of color, gets on the ticket with the Obamas and the Obama world, driven by what? Civil rights, women's rights, democracy. In a way, that's not who we are. I remember when I was in the Senate, it was a long... Well, never mind. Number one. Oh, Joe. Sleepy Joe.
Yeah, just take a nap, Joe.
Joe, now he's got COVID. That's the news today. Did you hear this?
Well, that's what I was just saying about that coincided with his "I'm sick" tweet.
Oh yeah, right.
Yep.
Right. Well, good Lord. I don't know, man, but it's going to be an interesting. Couple of weeks. But
like I said, if Joe doesn't quit, he's to blame.
Joe's got to quit.
But like, he has to.
Imagine this. Barack and Michelle Obama, Kamala and Mr. Harris
Yep.
meet with Biden, and in comes in Nancy and Mr. Pelosi.
Yep.
And they sit down and they say, Joe,
An intervention.
it's time to go.
A political intervention.
Oh, Joe, it's time to go. Now don't move fast. You are so slow. But if you stay, I am afraid you will lose the big parade. Donald Trump is such a fool, but he's beating the pants off you. Sleepy Joe, please take a pass. Don't come down as a historic ass. Your ego big, your Senate days. All for your record we have just praise. But you must go, it's your legacy. Oh, please go, Joe, do this for me.
Very nice.
Not bad, huh?
Very good.
It's a church song. See that?
There was some prayer. I saw.
Oh, my Lord,
Hey.
I ask of thee, my true self I one day be. Oh, sweeping Jesus upon the cross was my gain and not my loss. There was a movie shot in North Carolina with Nicole Kidman and Jude Law.
Yes. Cold Mountain.
And, Cold Mountain. And there's a scene when they're in church before he leaves for the army, and they're singing their church songs. And you remember the minister who ended up getting shot, and killed later on in the film. And all the people were in there, and they were singing a song, and they all were doing this chop motion to keep the beat of the song.
Uh-huh.
And it's a particular, maybe kind of eccentric habit or practice, I should say, in this particular type of church, whatever it was, early American Baptist, maybe.
Sure.
I don't know what it was.
Probably.
But Donald Sutherland, who recently passed, as you know,
Yes.
tribute. Hats off to him, man.
Yep.
Holy shit, man.
No kidding. Not our least favorite Donald.
But anyway, that's just an interesting thing. The other, what was that band that had it start up in Athens, Georgia, where the three states come together up there in the mountains, and this band made all sorts of national shit go on.
I think REM is from Georgia, but
REM, yes.
okay.
So the singer in REM, there's one of the tunes he does where he does that too.
Okay.
And it's fascinating to see it, and fun.
Very nice.
So anyway, that's the politics of the situation, and I would not be like 60% to 80%. This is the thing that is good for us, is that this thing with the assassination happened as a wake-up call to the Democrats to say, this is your reality. You have to take it now or lose it forever. Do you think that Barack and Michelle Obama will let this happen and Trump win? I don't.
I hope not.
I don't.
Speaking of songs, I'm surprised no one's come up with the Jimi Hendrix song this week of "Hey Joe, where you going with that gun in your hand?"
That's bad. That is
A little dark.
That is That is slow humor.
Anyway.
Well, you know, in the flurry of tweets afterwards, I mean, the first thing that fucking the new vice presidential candidate, Republican Party for the vice president of the United States said, this is a direct result of Joe Biden wanting to beat Trump at all costs.
The rhetoric was so...
wrote back and said, you should be disqualified from being vice president of the country because of that statement.
Yeah, it's a shit show. This week I got a little too close. I got a little too deep into the politics, and
because you're home in the States, and
and I was
everywhere.
I was just paying more attention, and it started to take a toll on my mental health. Like I had to back away because it just got so bad. But but there we are. Hey, so there's a new. I'm about to go have a pint of Guinness with my father.
Give my love, my love.
We've got a new Irish pub in town that we went
really?
to. We went to the other day. It's like the owners like have traveled a lot and they really love Ireland, and they like bought some part of the interior of the pub they like bought in Ireland and shipped here. And it's
cool.
It's decent pub food, but
where, Morganton?
Yep. But they
whereabouts? Main Street?
No, I mean
downtown.
Yeah, it's downtown.
Yeah, good.
And the but they we went there a couple days ago for dinner, and they do pour a nice Guinness. It's
hey,
nice and
so
thick.
whatever happened to the venue that was downtown that was so big, had a nice stage, and before you were legal by many years probably, was quite a venue. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Was this?
I mean, I could ask around, but there was when I became of drinking age, there was one shitty bar in town. That was all there was. And now, with all the craft beers and local breweries and stuff.
Owned a bar downtown, and they used to close it up at 2:00 and put the close sign, and 6 or 8 of us would stay.
I heard John was telling stories about you sliding down the bar like with your shirt off and some shenanigans.
Well, things happen. I don't. The difficulty I have with these stories is I don't recall. I mean,
of course, it sounds like something you might have done, though.
I want to know, and as I've testified before under oath, it kind of sounds like something that I might say, but I can't recall exactly saying it. If you get my drift.
Right. Exactly. But.
Well, man, I gotta go, bro. Are we good?
Yeah, hopefully my flights back will be better than the flights here. Okay, that does it for episode number 226. You can find the show notes at happyhour.fm/226, where there's a link to Joe Biden's tweet and the video clip of the Cold Mountain movie that Dennis mentioned. You can help support the show at patreon.com/happyhour. We would really appreciate that. And if you do so, you can watch the video. See you next week.